Hey, what up yo guys, this is me Osama Gaza. Welcome to my channel, and in today's video we will see how we can create this cool double exposure effect in Adobe Premiere Pro. It's really cool and easy effect to do, and all you need is two clips. And yeah, let's get to it and see how we can do this. Alright, so the first thing to create this double exposure effect is that of course you need two clips. One of them is going to be the frame, and the second one, which is the one in a lower track here, is going to be the content within that frame. For those who are familiar with Photoshop, the masking concept in Photoshop, masking is pretty much how to combine and composite two elements together into one frame. And it's pretty much the same concept here. We're not gonna get in details in that now, just letting you guys know what it means. Okay, so the first step here is going to the silhouette clip, which is the buildings. And why I called it silhouette? Because I need to have this kind of strong contrast between the brights or the highlights and the darkest or the darker parts of the clip. And this is not a must, but if you want to come up with something cool and if you want to make it easier for you to edit, this is pretty much the best way to do it, is to have this kind of strong contrast between the highlights and the shadows. Okay, so the first step here will be looking up for something called threshold. Drag it and drop it onto the first clip, the silhouette clip. And what that does, as you guys can see, it makes the highlights really bright and of course make the shadows quite darker. Alright, and don't you guys worry about these white spots in here. We're gonna fix that later. So now what we're going to do is, after we added the threshold effect onto the first silhouette clip, we're actually going to create another copy from this clip and set it right below the first copy or the original clip. Then go to this new copy we created and delete the threshold effects. Alright, now go to the effects panel and search for something called track matte. And you can find it under keying. And what we're going to do now is drag and drop this track matte key onto the second copy we created and the second clip that we want actually to show within these buildings over here. Alright, now go to the second original clip, the beach. Then go to the track matte key effect and change the matte to V3. And why V3? Because this is actually where our clip, the original silhouette clip, is. This is where we want to make the buildings look like the frame, and this beach clip here is going to be the content within that frame. Alright, then now go to this clip, the beach clip, and change the composite using to matte luma. And of course, don't forget to hit reverse. And what that does is, and instead of showing the beach in the background, it's going to actually show it in the foreground, which is the building. Alright guys, so now the final step in using this method to apply the double exposure effect is to bring back some of the details of the original clip or the silhouette clip. And by saying details, we want to have like some of the sky, some details of the buildings, just to make the whole thing look better and cooler. And to do that, that's why we created a second copy from the silhouette clip. As you guys remember, we can drag it back in the middle between the silhouette and the beach clips. And this time, actually, I don't think that I will need the track matte on this clip anymore. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is go to the blend mode and change it to hard light. And why did I choose hard light, not screen? Because if you guys know about me, I always prefer to use screen. But this time I chose hard light because this is the clip. It didn't really work with screen, so as you guys can see, it gets really transparent. It doesn't look cool, and we can't cover or hide these white spots using the screen blend mode. So that's why I actually tried all of these, and the hard light mode was the best one so far, so I would just go for it. And again, it just depends on the quality of your video and the material you have. Maybe you have a proper contrast between the bright areas and the bright and the darker areas, and you don't need the hard light blend mode. You can just go to lighten or screen. Alright, so now actually we're pretty much done, guys. Again, Everything depends on the quality of your video. So if you have a proper, so for example, if you're shooting, if you have a camera and shooting yourself, just make sure that you have this kind of strong contrast, as I mentioned many times before. Uh, so you have a better chance to plan everything beforehand and before you start editing. So everything about the post-production phase is pretty much planned out from the very beginning, so you're not going to have a problem. You're all set and ready to go. So this is pretty much how the double exposure effect is done in Adobe Premiere Pro. But before leaving you guys, there's actually one extra mile you can go just to make it look better. And to do this, I would personally go to Effects and search for RGB curves and drag it and drop it onto the second copy from the silhouette clip, the buildings. Then I will reduce the brightness of this video a little bit in order to grab people's attention to the middle part of the screen. This is actually a final trick on how to make a better effect out of the double exposure. Alright, so that was pretty much everything about the double exposure effect, guys, or everything about how I personally do it in Adobe Premiere Pro. To be honest with you, I mostly do it in Adobe After Effects, but since you guys are way more interested in Adobe Premiere Pro, so I had to show you how to do it here. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching me, and for my Arab and Egyptian friends, you will not need translation anymore because I'm going to be uploading another Arabic tutorial to explain the same effect in the Arabic language. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching and see you next time.